have a way of talking to people in a friendly manner that enables them to want to give you their information. Damien Andrews for NextGen Sales Masterclass, and today we're talking about prospecting. One of the things with prospecting that a lot of people do, or from what I've seen, do not very well, is they don't manage their time very well in that regard. They think everybody is a prospect. And I think that comes from this sales belief that everybody is a potential buyer. And there's a lot of hype around that. And it's a great sell because people buy into that, going, oh, everyone's a client. And then people go into sales and they get hit with the reality that, no, not everybody is going to buy your product or service. But there are a lot of people out there that will. And that's where you want to focus your time, is on those people that are already wanting to buy, that have this need for it or will have this need for it. And how do you identify that? Because you can spend a lot of time. This happens a lot. Business cards are a great example for that. People have business cards. They meet with someone, say, hey, can you, here's my business card, and they hand that over and thinking, okay, we might have a sale there. Firstly, business cards cost money. And secondly, what usually happens, I know from my perspective, when someone offers me a business card, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to take it. I'm then going to throw it in the bin. And that's what happens to the majority of these business cards. And a lot of people do that with sales. They are speaking and hoping to get sales from someone who has no need, no desire, and is never going to buy that. It's kind of like asking me to buy a Google phone. It's not going to happen. I'm an Apple guy. I will always buy an Apple phone. Well, unless they do something ridiculous with their business that changes my perception. So I'm never, ever going to be in the market so someone can come up to me all they want with all the Google gizmos, whatever it is, I'm never going to buy it. So it's a waste of time for someone to be prospecting me for that type of phone, anything else but an Apple phone. And so from that, what do you do? How do you identify if someone's going to be a potential customer? I was working with a client recently on that basis as well, from that perspective, because they were out there doing the same thing with the business cards, handing that out to people. Often when they're at trade fairs as well, it's kind of funny because they talked about how they'd have the kids come up and grab the business cards, and I'm sure you've all experienced that, where everyone's got to have one, and it's a big cost. So don't do it. Don't worry about it. What you need to do is you have a way of pre-qualifying whether that person is potentially going to be a buyer. So you might be at a trade show, for example, and you want to be getting their details, their information. So that goes into your CRM, and we've got a whole program on creating a CRM that's effective, because many people don't do that, but that's another topic. But what you want to be doing is have a way of talking to people in a friendly manner that enables them to want to give you their information, but you're most likely qualifying, not most likely, you are qualifying them as to whether they're likely to be a buyer. An example, the example that I was referring to before with the client that I was working with recently, and it dramatically changed their approach to how they dealt with things, dramatically gave them so much more time and dealing with more quality prospects. And this is what we want to do, is best manage our time. So what do? We ask them the question. We're talking with someone there, if you've gone through the spiel as to whether they're going to buy now and they're not, that's fine. Because if you just met them, it takes a bit of time to build that trust and build that relationship. So you ask them, say, well, we've every couple of times a year, we have some special new products coming out or whatever it is that suits your business. So you have that where you say, look, we've got some unique things coming, and it becomes a couple of times a year. And say, look, this is not to gather your details, to bombard you with emails and newsletters and stuff like that. We don't do that. We want to create a relationship of trust and respect with our potential customers. Is this something that you might be interested in the future if we had a special that come out? Would you like to know about it? Would it be unreasonable for us to keep your details and contact you at those times? And you've got to be very, very genuine with this. You can't be blasting them with stuff because that just is really annoying. Now, if they say yes, and they give you your contact details, so you collect those details that goes into your CRM, they are most likely going to be a customer in the future. So what you're doing is you're asking them and you're saying, look, would you be okay collecting your details and then contacting you when we've got a special on? Now, another way of doing that, which is really will make you stand out from the crowd, is go beyond email. Go back old school. Go back to collecting their address. Because when you do that, and you can put this into your pitch that you give them, is you say, look, I'd like to grab your address as well. And you can know from grabbing that sending old school mail is expensive. So we don't do it all that often. We only do it with our potential clients. So if you're okay giving me those details, be more than happy. And when something comes up, we'll pop it in the post to you. You'll get it old school, high quality, just so you know that we are genuine. So that way, again, if they give you your details, this is what you want them to do. You don't want to be handing out your details. Sorry, if they give you their details, not give you your details, you've obviously got your details. If they give you their details to contact them, because you've already told them, you started up front, none of this, I will give you a newsletter and all that kind of stuff. Start up front. We've got special things to offer you. And if they give that to you, if they give you their details, then they're likely to be a potential customer, because they're not going to give it to you unless they want what you've got, because you've said that up front. You've set that framework. So the key to that is set a framework of saying, this is what we have on offer. Would it be unreasonable to grab your details, and when we've got some special things coming up, we'll reach out to you. Make it very clear it's not a spammy type thing, and you won't be doing it. And don't do that. Don't be a spammer. It's just annoying. I get that all the time, and I deliberately put those people on the I'm not going to buy from them at all, because I don't want to be bombarded with that. So what you want to do is create an identification of, is this person a potential customer? And you ask them, would it be unreasonable to collect your details, and we can contact you when we've got one of these special bonuses coming up. Ideally, you could do that through old school mail, something like that, that's going to stand out. And also too, with that, they know you're not going to be bombarded. And then when you contact them, you have something special to offer. There's a whole follow-up procedure that we deal with that in the first deal with that as we go forward with your sales process. But the thing that you want to be doing is making sure that you're pre-qualifying these people. Don't be handing out things willy-nilly, hoping, oh yes, they might buy one day. No, you want to find out, are they really interested? And if they give you your details to go into your CRM for you to contact them later, chances are they're going to buy. And when you get a big list of those, increasing your sales significantly is not a challenge at all. It's pretty simple. So this is Damien Andrews for the NextGen Sales Masterclass, and look forward to catching you in the next video.